I'm going to call the meeting to order. We're a couple of minutes late, waiting for individuals to log in. Welcome to all in the gallery. This is the regular meeting of Council of the Municipality of Swan Valley West, held in Council Chambers at 216 Main Street West, Swan River, Manitoba, this 23rd day of March 2021 at 7:04 p.m. Due to COVID-19 restrictions, some members are attending by phone and Zoom due to the numbers allowed. Present in chambers, myself, Deputy Reeve Blosha, and Councillor Matt Wills. On the phone, Councillor Gade, Councillor Kushniryk, and Councillor Pierrepont. Is Councillor Foster on yet or not?
I haven't heard Foster yet.
Okay, he is supposed to be joining, but maybe a few minutes late. Also in chambers is ACAO Finance Officer James Webb. First resolution, resolved that the agenda for the regular meeting of council held this 23rd day of March 2021 shall be adopted as circulated. Do we have a mover for that resolution? Councillor Blosha. Seconded by Councillor Wills. Any additions or deletions requested? If not, all in favor?
Yes. Yes.
That is carried. Second resolution, resolved that the minutes for the regular meeting of council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West held on March 9th, 2021 shall be adopted as circulated. A mover for that resolution, please.
Kushniryk.
Moved by Councillor Kushniryk. Seconded by Councillor Blosha. Any errors or omissions? If not, all in favor?
Yes. Yes.
That is carried. Are they present? The delegation present?
Okay, Rob, we'll turn it. Rob Terhorse is joining us
Okay.
to present tonight.
Good evening, Rob. It's Bill Galloway. We will give you the floor. We're a couple of minutes early, and the time limit is 15 minutes. So if you are prepared, go ahead, please.
Okay, I want to say thank you to the council for giving us this time to make a presentation to you about the Thunderhill project, and I hope that the proposal was circulated to each of you. And I don't know if you had time to look at it over, but I wasn't going to screen share. I thought you should be able to have a copy of it, and maybe you can go back to it, and we'll have a time for questions at the end. But yeah, I want to say, so I'm Robert Terhorst, and I'm involved in the ski club, the bike club as well. And what we want to present to you is the project proposal at Thunderhill. Just a quick backstory, we wanted to come up with a master plan for the ski hill area that involved both the biking and the downhill skiing. We wanted to introduce cross-country skiing and make a year-round plan for outdoor physical activities. And so we started on that endeavor, and we're happy to share that with you. And so we want to talk about the phase one of the plan. We had to break it into phases, partly because of funding, but we are proposing the construction of a new chalet, and that would be at the lower ski area on the bottom of the JB lift. And then parcel with that, there would be a new access road. Part of the reason for that is we feel that the current road going to the top of the lodge at the top of the hill is a bit cumbersome for some people, and surprisingly, some of the feedback is a little negative around that. And so a new road going into the bottom of the ski area would allow us to develop the cross-country ski trails, some family-friendly bike trails, and would allow for future development around the ski club, whether it's sort of micro cabins or little, cabins that could be rented out. And it would be accessible for more people and in that year-round capacity. So we have the chalet idea, and then part of that is the trail network for mountain biking, for cross-country skiing, for hiking and walking. And what really spurred this on, and we might say, well, why do you want to do this now? Is partly because of the pandemic, and we've seen such an interest in the need to get outside, and for facilities to be outside, to do as a family unit, that you can do and be safe in. And part of that is with granting, there's more grants this year in larger dollar amounts to help the economy. And so if we were just a ski hill and we're open 3 months of the year, that doesn't really appeal to a lot of granting agencies. And if we're just a cycling group in the summer for 6 months, that's not that appealing either. So when we combine our efforts together and we can say we would be a year-round facility, we could have washroom access to everybody, whether it's on a Sunday afternoon or a Thursday evening, whether they're walking the trails or cross-country skiing in the wintertime. That becomes very appealing to the government and to granting agencies to say this is accessible to everybody, no matter what sport, what discipline, and in season or in a pandemic or beyond the pandemic. It's a good resource for your community. And so that's why we wanted to go with that approach to this project. And really there is a very good need for outdoor options. And I think that's going to not just be for the duration of the pandemic, but going forward, I think that it's very important. And we all know that Thunderhill, right, I think particularly the people in the RM understand that Thunderhill is probably one of our greatest assets in our entire valley. And so to say everybody loves the area, there is only one ski hill area that in our whole community. It's not duplicated anywhere else. And so we think it's a great asset that can be built on, and we can expand the recreational opportunities for the whole valley. And so that's why we wanted to work with the ski club and really move it beyond the ski club to year-round activities. And so we did want to break it into phases with some of the grants that we've applied for. There were certain trail grants that we applied for, and then certain, obviously facility or chalet-minded grants that we geared it towards. And so we broke it into the phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 focusing more on the lodge and the road and the infrastructure. And then phase 2 more on the recreational aspects of the trail, whether it's mountain biking or cross-country skiing. And so we have it broken down that way, where we think with the granting that we're going after, we maybe it's ambitious, but we are very optimistic that this project will go forward, and if nothing else in the initial stages, for sure phase 1. And so we're optimistic about that, and we'd be happy to share some good news in those regards in the coming weeks. There's some good developments in the works. And so I guess how we see the RM being involved, we just really wanted to let you know, first and foremost, this is happening in the RM of Swan Valley West. And you're obviously well aware of Thunderhill and just a good long-standing relationship it has with the entire community and the asset that it is. And so we wanted to let you know that this is happening, that we hope to make these kinds of improvements. We are currently working on that road. It's being cleared. And we hope to make good progress on that in the coming weeks. And then also, how you can be involved, we can talk a little bit about that, or if you want time to discuss that as a council, you can certainly do that. But we could envision, partnership or involvement with the road project. Maybe it's gravel or help with that, just expertise. or in a longer term sense, we have the fundraising tiers. You can see how we've approached other interest groups or other groups. And yeah, so I'm just gonna put it out there maybe for Derek or for Kyle to chime in and just add some things I've overlooked. But yeah, as far as what we're doing, how we think we're gonna do this, why we're doing this, and who it's for. Ultimately, I think it's for RM residents for sure, but it's beyond that. It's for our community and also even beyond. When you look at what Dauphin has done with their trail network, they've invested $1 million, and they are seeing huge interest and commitment from their community and from tourists coming in and benefiting from it. So I think that there's a good reason to invest in this recreation because it's beneficial for residents and into the tourism piece as well. But I'll just leave it, if you don't mind, I wouldn't mind just extending it to Kyle and Derek to see if I've forgotten anything that I should have included.
Just one moment there. Who joined us on the phone?
Bob Thomas.
Hey, Bob. And who else joined us on the phone?
Bernadine Hankey.
Okay, thanks. Good. Okay, go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna pass it over to Kyle and Derek to see if I've forgotten any major points here to this.
Yeah, there's only one thing I guess that should be highlighted, and the purpose of having the facility built at the bottom of the hill, one was the access road. We felt that was a bit of an issue with certain people. It takes time sometimes to get up that hill when you have a two-wheel drive and it's icy, or sometimes it's washed out in the summertime. So there's some different things that we thought was a hindrance. But more specifically, the bottom trails would be able to be accessed by people of all ages. So if you're 2 years old or you're 92 years old, it's going to be a lot leveler. There's not as much of a grade dropping. And we're looking at doing something more than just bike and cross-country ski. We're also hoping to develop a land-based learning trail. And we're going to be working with the Swan Valley Friendship Center, the First Nations and the local Métis to just work on a lot more of a learning trail where there'll be some signage and some different things kind of highlighting some of the heritage of the valley, as well as an outdoor classroom at the end of that trail. So this will also be a place that schools can go and use as an educational facility, and those trails will be able to be walked. You don't have to bike them, don't have to run them. They'll be very level, really, really good walking trails, yet you'll still have that same thing that you get from being outside. You'll have all the benefits of being in nature for your mental and physical health. So we like that idea as well. It gives us a larger opportunity to reach out to kind of that family that has a young child and they just need to walk something, and they also got a teenager who needs that more aggressive outlet. They can go and they can ride some of those harder trails. It's a closed loop trail system that we're looking to have. There is a designer behind it, and he's got quite a bit of momentum in Manitoba. His name's Alex Mann. He's done a lot of trail networks, more recently in Dauphin. I believe they're up to 1.5 million. Robert thought it was $1 million. I think it's 1.5 now. Neepawa just spent $600,000 on some trails. Assisipi did the same. And this is something that the name will draw people here, we believe. It's one thing to have some trails. It's another thing to have trails by Alex Mann. And the Manitoba government is really pushing for trails right now. That's why we're also trying to access those grants. And I think the name of Alex Mann behind them gives a reason for the person that drives all the way from Winnipeg to go to Dauphin, just as much reason to come to Swan River. And I honestly 100% believe that will happen. These guys will spend $15,000 to $20,000 on a mountain bike. You can guarantee they will travel an extra 2 hours to come and try these trails. So we're really excited about that side of it. And the chalet tying in there, the reason that has to be first is it's discouraging right now to go up to the hill and not be able to have washroom access if you are up there in the summer. If you are with a family, you got to plan your trip, you got to get up there, you got to go for your ride, and you got to get back if you want to use the washroom. So that's why it's kind of phase one for the chalet, I believe, and phase two. And I'm not a board member. Robert, Derek, and Ed and Darren are all here. They're board members. But I've been just contributing as a fundraiser to the project because I believe it's warranted in our valley, and I think the residents are going to benefit from it as much as all of Manitoba.
Okay, anyone else want to contribute? If not, we'll open it up to councillors if they have a question.
Councillor Gade.
Go ahead.
I guess, Robert, probably to you, but to whoever is best suited for it. I'm looking through the budget and such there. Could you give us as council some idea of what your ask is so we know what you're looking for? Is it just the gravel, or are you looking for money as well? Just could you expand a little bit more on what you're hoping we could do for you?
Yeah, no, a great question. I guess we were, just full disclosure, a little apprehensive about answering that question because really this might be the first time you have a chance to discuss it. And so, I think the upfront ask would be, I think in a practical terms, if you could help with the gravel, that would be a huge asset because then we could really make this accessible in a very short amount of time. But if you felt like you wanted to go beyond that with the investment in your RM, I think that would be maybe a discussion point we'd love to revisit in a few weeks when you see maybe where we are at with fundraising, or and we'd be happy to give you some time to talk about this as a group. So there isn't not to be wishy-washy, but there isn't a firm dollar figure where we're saying, well, we would like you to give X, because I think, you have your budget, and I'm not sure if, where you're at with that, if you need to look at this for next year or whatever. But, so I think that we'd be happy to just leave it as, the practical aspect of the road for now. And then if you felt like this was a good investment in the community as far as the infrastructure and the recreational capacity, that when you look at your rec services in comparison to other RMs, this should increase the value there. So is it something that you feel you could direct a little bit more towards? I don't know what that looks like for the RM. So I don't know if the others want to chime in on that, but we didn't have a firm ask as far as a dollar figure, because we want this to maybe be an ongoing conversation after a little bit of time.
Okay, any other councillor have any questions or comments?
Who's preparing your road for you?
Could you repeat that, please?
Who's preparing the road for them?
Yeah, so the McKay logging is clearing the road, and they are stumping it for us and preparing it so that it can be, the ditching can be done. I think Ag Shield is prepared to bring in some equipment to help with the ditching aspect of it. And so the preparation would be done with those two. Also, Cass Atkinson, who has been consulted with this as well, and so we're trying to get his expertise on this. So it is a little bit, in-kind preparation at this point. And even for the RM to say, if you wanted to offer your expertise on saying this is how it should be done, that would be helpful too. But to this point, the clearing has been done by McKay Logging, and I would say so specifically that's Ian and Carson and Mark McKay.
Is there a timeline when they will be done with the clearing?
I think probably by the end of this week is the way things are looking at. So they're hard at it already, and they're making very good progress. So they're clearing the roadway again on the Darren and Robert Staples' quarter, edging up to the Thunderhill property, and so they're leaving the 66 feet pathway for the road, and then also clearing and put the new parking lot area on the Thunderhill property. So that's the work that they're doing now, and they indicate that really they should be done that part by the end of this week.
Okay.
Do you have any estimate as to what kind of yardage you would need for gravel?
You know what? I'll just let Kyle speak to this. He did gather that information earlier.
Sure. Just so you know, yeah, the McKays are doing really good work. Before they can continue, there does have to be some thaw there. So it's kind of been recommended that you can't really build a road with the ground frozen. So there is a little bit of time yet. But their portion is stumping the road and clearing the road. It looks like we're going to need about 2,300 yards, so 2,300 yards of 1.5 gravel. So that's I don't really understand what that means per se, but that is the number and that is the type that I've heard. So it's about a 6-inch layer packed on top of, after you clear it, you get all the topsoil off, on top of the clay. From my understanding, you need about a 6-inch base.
Okay, well, if there are no other questions, thank you very much, Bob and the other contributors. It is an ambitious project, but we, I believe, will all benefit from it. And we will do as a municipality what we can to assist with various stages. So once again, thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you very much.
And thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks to everybody else that had joined with Rob. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Okay, we will go now to number 7 on the agenda, general business, resolutions. 7.1, request for conditional use. Resolved that a public hearing shall be held on March 13th, 2021 at 7:15 p.m. for the purpose of receiving presentations from those who may be interested in regards to the request for conditional use within the AG zone on the property known as DESC Northeast 103827W, specifically to allow to change the use of existing 50 by 70 foot shop into a commercial safety repair and vehicle inspection shop for personal and commercial use as allowed under Table 4-1 AG Agricultural General Zone. Use and bulk table of the RM of Swan River zoning bylaw number 2383-04, and be it further resolved that all the necessary advertising, mailing, and posting of the notice for said hearing shall be made in accordance with the Planning Act. Do we have a mover for that resolution?
I'll move it, but I think you have you read the wrong date.
Yes.
Read the wrong what?
Date. You read March 13th, but it should be April.
April. I am sorry if I read March. It's April 13th.
But I would like
Okay,
to-
moved by Councillor Blosha. Seconded by Councillor Kushniryk, was that?
Pierrepont, I think.
Oh,
Pierrepont.
Pierrepont. Okay. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
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 That is carried. Next resolution, whereas the safety inspections on December 18th, 2020 and March 12th, 2021 have been completed and submitted, therefore be it resolved that these inspections and compliance reports from the province have been received by council. Do we have a mover for that resolution?
I'll move.
Moved by Councillor Wills. Seconder,
Kushniryk.
Councillor Kushniryk. Discussion?
Well, what I'm thinking, the three of us that sit on this committee, I'm wondering if we shouldn't have a meeting specifically looking at this with council.
Can you guys turn him up some so we can hear him?
There's a lot of info in here.
Okay.
We can't go through it all tonight, but we need to start going through this and figuring out where to start, is my thoughts.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was, Matt said that he wanted to go through it with his committee,
With council,
with council.
yeah.
I think it was just reported to council tonight so that they would know that it's being worked on.
Yep.
And the details can follow as.
Everybody's got it to look at now, and we'll,
Okay, is there any objection to us setting a meeting date to go over that specifically?
No, I think we need to put a plan in place and start moving forward.
Okay, any other comments?
I agree, you know, some of the stuff in the report we looked at 2 years ago and we haven't done it yet, so we need to get something concrete so it does get done.
Okay, anything further? Not, we'll call the question. All in favor?
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
That is carried. Next resolution, whereas Richardson International Limited requires an approach at the southwest/southeast 15 3727 to allow for construction and future access onto the property from Municipal Road 218 north, the Pioneer Grain Road. Therefore be it resolved that Council of the Municipality of Swan Valley West approves said request as outlined in the attached preliminary drawings. Do we have a mover for that resolution?
Kushniryk.
Yes.
And a seconder?
Pierrepont.
Any discussion?
Only one thing is that when they start that construction is we need to negotiate that there's going to be, better dust control for the residents there, as that's been an issue in the past.
I would imagine that if it is a dry spell, we'll need some dust control for sure.
Yeah, well, one application doesn't work, and if they're going to be doing construction and have more traffic on there than usual, then that's something we're gonna have to review with them.
Yeah, Pioneer will likely contribute to that as well, given the size of the project.
They do now, they pay for one pass up to the elevator, but that pass doesn't last a year. So it's something we're gonna have to make them aware of, I guess.
Yeah. Any further comment or questions? If not, all in favor?
yes.
Yes.
That is carried. Next resolution, whereas a recommendation has been received from the LUD Committee regarding the closure of First Street West in Bonito between Railway Avenue and First Avenue for fire training purposes on March 27th, 2021. Therefore be it resolved that council shall hereby approve said recommendation. Do we have a mover for that resolution? Moved by Councillor Blosha. Seconder? Councillor Wills. Questions or comments? If not, all in favor?
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
That is carried. Next resolution, whereas tax service was hired to manage the tax sale for the municipality during the fiscal year 2021, therefore be it resolved that the tax sale auction shall be held on October 19th, 2021 at 10 a.m. in the council chambers at 216 Main Street West, Swan River, Manitoba. Do we have a mover for that resolution?
On the phone, if we could get you to mute, that would be great. Or less,
Less background noise, please. Do we have a seconder to that resolution? Councillor Blosha. Any questions or comments? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
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 That is carried. Next resolution. Be it resolved that council accept the quotation from Fort Distributors Limited to supply magnesium chloride for the 2021 dust control program at a cost of 35 cents per liter. Price to include delivery, supply, and application plus GST. Said quote being the lowest received. Be it further resolved that the cost for private dust control application for 2021 shall be $500 per application of 500 feet times 16 feet and $250 per application of 250 feet times 16 feet. Who joined us?
Yeah, it's Glen here, Councillor Foster.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a mover for that resolution?
Pierrepont?
Councillor Pierrepont. Seconder? Councillor Wills. Questions or comments? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
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 Councillor Foster?
Yes.
Okay, moving on to number 8 on our agenda, financial items. Resolved that the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West does hereby approve the following payments. General checks number 16805 to 16830 in the amount of $551,041.94 for a grand total of $551,041.94. Do we have a mover for that resolution?
I'll move it.
Moved by Councillor Blosha. Seconder,
I'll second it.
Councillor Foster. Any questions? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
That is carried. Eight point two. Resolved that the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West does hereby approve the following payments. Payroll payments checks number 3549 to 3562 in the amount of $15,062.03 for a grand total of $15,062.03. Do we have a mover for that resolution?
Kushniryk.
And a seconder? Councillor Pierrepont, was that? No? Councillor
No,
Wills?
but I will.
Councillor Wills is the seconder. Any questions or comments on these checks? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
That is carried. Okay, we'll move to number 9, discussion haul roads.
just a quick update on that haul road. We've been in communication with Highways and the RCMP. We have nothing in writing from either one. but the discussion is around the haul on the Durgan Road from the highways, and it looks positive that there's no restrictions on that one. We're going to get that in writing, so we have it. And then I'm looking forward to an email from the RCMP to see what they've found as far as the stop sign goes.
Councillor Gade.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I did check on the highway's website. It's true there is no restrictions, but it is also true that it is a Class B1 highway. So it is not suitable for travel because of the maximum weight of the B1. It doesn't get restricted necessarily in the spring, but it is not an RTAC road.
Is the capacity of the RTAC and the B1 not the same though?
No, very, very different.
There's
Well, how different is it?
the question was how different was it? There is a difference, but on the highways map it shows that it's very similar, and so that's what we're getting clarification on.
Would that not make it the same as that short stretch from Highway 10 into Minnetonka? Like we're working with similar situations where you got a short stretch from an RTAC to a village, but both of those they're classified as RTAC, and up to that point, and then after that, then the restrictions change.
At any rate, there had been verbal communication to staff that there were no restrictions, etc. And I had asked that they get that in writing so that we have some hard evidence, and we await that communication. Anything further on that? Not, we'll move on to 10.1, Town of Swan River Notice of Public Hearing. Bylaw number 3, 2021, April 20th, 2021 at 7:30 p.m. What is that in regard to?
Zoning.
Oh, zoning?
Yeah, on the highway.
Okay, more for information. Nothing under number 11. Okay, we will go to committee reports. We'll start, how about we start at number 1 and go through 6 by wards this time. Councillor Foster.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I was at it. I don't think I've been at anything since the last meeting. I'm not there. I don't have my book handy with me right now. I just jumped out of the truck and come here.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Blosha.
Mr. Webb and I attended the LUD meeting on Tuesday.
And everyone here?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Councillor Gade, do you have anything to report?
I haven't been to any committee meetings, sadly, so not really welcome at them. It would be nice, though, if when we're holding committee meetings, if the dates and times could be circulated, so I could come and observe some of them. It would certainly be helpful. But I spent most of my time in the last little while here researching and learning about water and conducting some tours and getting some instruction in that. So it's been very informative. That's my report.
Okay, thank you. Number 4.
Tyler?
Tyler. Councillor Kushniryk.
Sorry, Sorry, there we go.
You have to unmute, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, if I remember right, shared services is the one meeting that I went to, you know. And other than that, no, nothing else to really report.
Okay, thank you. Now it's your turn, Councillor Wills.
I had my safety inspection meeting on the 12th of March. We went through all the shops from Swan, Durban, and Benito, and we got a pretty good sized list of things that need a little looking after, and we're going to go over that at a later date. Other than that, no more meetings, but I've also been doing a little research on water treatment myself, so just to get a little better understanding of how it all works.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Pierrepont.
I attended the shared services meeting and then a meeting with our shared services committee to discuss what information we were giving at that meeting. And that was it for me.
Okay, thank you. I too attended a shared services meeting with the town and then one with our committee only. I also attended the tax sale and a RISE meeting that turned out to be cancelled after we, Councillor Kushniryk and myself were present. Councillor Kushniryk by phone, but I was physically present and we could not get a quorum. So that has been rescheduled for tomorrow evening, and I'm not sure whether she'll be able to get a quorum for that either or not, but we will see. And that is my report. Did you have anything?
No. For myself, it was the LUD meeting and shared services with the town of Swan River.
Okay, resolution resolved that we do hereby accept the following verbal reports regarding council committees and communications. Councillor Kushniryk, Town of Swan River Shared Services and RISE. Councillor Blosha, LUD meeting. Councillor Wills, safety inspection at the shop and researching water treatment. Councillor Pierrepont, Town of Swan River Shared Services, Committee Shared Services meeting. Councillor Gade has been researching water as well. Councillor Foster had nothing to report. Myself, Town of Swan River Shared Services meeting, Committee Shared Services, RISE meeting, and the tax sale. The ACAO, FO, James Webb, Town of Swan River Shared Services, and LUD committee meeting. Do we have a mover for this resolution?
Kushniryk.
Moved by Councillor Kushniryk,
I'll second it.
seconded by Councillor Foster. Any questions or comments? If not, all in favor?
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
That is carried. Okay, we come to the point in the agenda where we will entertain a question or a comment from the gallery concerning any topic or item discussed at this evening's meeting. Floor is open if you wish to make a comment or ask a question. If not, thank you all for attending. We will take a 10-minute recess and we will reconvene at 8 o'clock. Thanks again for your attendance. Have a good evening. And a resolution resolved that pursuant to section 152 sub 3 of the Municipal Act, the council as a whole shall go into camera and close the meeting to continue discussions regarding 2021 tax sale agreement, tax sale March 17th, 2021, bylaw enforcement officers report, LUD utility, shared services, employee matters, and code of conduct. Do we have a mover for that resolution?
I'll move it.
Moved by Councillor Foster. Seconder?
Kushniryk.
Councillor Wills. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
That is carried. Okay, resolved that pursuant to section 152 sub 4 of the Municipal Act, this meeting shall be reopened to the public. A mover, please.
I'll move it.
Councillor Blosha. Seconded by Councillor Wills. All in favor?
Yes?
Yes.
That is carried. Okay, I have this bylaw officers one to do.
We don't.
Don't need that, okay. There was
Unless you guys want.
one other one.
Don't worry about that.
That's the agreement.
The top one.
Okay, this is an agreement. Whereas section 369 sub 1 of the Municipal Act provides as follows. 3691, a municipality may cancel or adjourn an auction at a particular property, at any time before it begins if the property owner enters into an agreement with the municipality for payment of the arrears and costs. And whereas the property owner requested to enter into an agreement with the municipality for payments of the 2019-2020 taxes and costs, resolved that the Council of the Municipality of Swan Valley West does hereby agree to this payment arrangement and removal of the 2021 tax sale list for said property, and be it further resolved that the Reeve shall be authorized to sign such an agreement on behalf of the municipality. A mover, please.
I'll move it.
Moved by Councillor Blosha,
I'll second it.
seconded by Councillor Foster. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Yep?
Yes.
Yes.
That is carried. Okay, anything further from anyone? If not, resolved that this meeting shall now adjourn at 10:22 p.m. Be it further resolved that the next meeting is Tuesday, April 13th, 2021 at 7 p.m. A mover, please.
Yeah, I'll move it.
Moved by Councillor Foster. Seconder.
Kushniryk.
Seconded by Councillor Kushniryk.
That hurt.
All in favor?
Yep?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That is carried. Hey, thank you all for your attendance.